but yet it's the most watched musical phenomenon that is.
I know, it's amazing it survived and prospered and all that. All right, we have got to talk about what's happened over the weekend, the terrible events in Israel. Was dominating the news everywhere. Israel was attacked on Saturday by Palestinian militants Hamas, who reportedly killed at least 700 people. Around 260 of those who died were at a music festival. Israel retaliated with airstrikes on Gaza. We gather there'll be nearly 500 fatalities. What you see there, people paragliding in. These militants came in by air with these 1 or 2 seater paragliders. The Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has said Britain stands by Israel and has offered to send diplomatic or security support to the region if requested. So we're just going to ask here, what can we do about this? 0207 862 2222. Do give us a call. Ali, it's just shocking. Israel saying it's the worst day in the history of the Israeli state.
Well, it's appalling, absolutely appalling. And Israelis, of course, have an absolute right to live in peace and security. This is an extremely worrying situation for the Israelis. I mean, hundreds of people dead, including at that concert which was happening in the south, close to the border with Gaza. But I really do think it raises 2 issues for the Israeli government. The first is around the intelligence failure here, and I think there are going to be serious questions asked about that, including the fact that the Shin Bet, the head of the security service, said to Benjamin Netanyahu earlier this year that if you take your eye off the ball and focus on the West Bank, where a lot of Israeli settlers have been pretty aggressive in their expansion plans, and a lot of Israeli forces have had to be diverted up there to support them in that and protect them, you're going to take your eye off the ball and it's going to encourage and inflame tensions, particularly in Gaza. He was totally dismissed as a left-wing effective heretic. And the other failure really here, as well as the intelligence failure, which has to be investigated, is the massive strategic failure on the part of the Israeli government as well, to think that they could just deal with this issue.
I find this massively interesting, you know.
Effectively trying to contain
definitely
it hasn't worked. Now, there's a short term. Obviously, Israel is going to retaliate.
Personally, it's the worst thing I can remember in my lifetime.
They have an absolute right to live in peace and security. But what do we do about the longer term? The longer term solution here, there's only ever been one, which is a diplomatic negotiation of some kind that has been actually not really focused on for far too long.
There's some more latest news.
That wasn't much a solution, was it?
That music festival in Israel has also been reported missing. A young British man, Nathaniel Young, who was serving with the Israeli army, has been killed in the attack. Back in London, the Met Police have increased police patriols after receiving reports that people were
a British dude serving in the British Army. I get the dynamics of it, right? But surely he's Israeli if he's in the Israeli army?
Hostages have been taken and maybe taken back into Gaza, so that whatever Israel is doing in Gaza, they feel they
surely
have to be
would be classified as an Israeli citizen to
very urgent about
serve in the army.
You know, I want to stress that it is really
100% sure.
And distressing to see some of the incidents that we're hearing about. And that hostage situation, I think, is probably the most shocking of all, weaponizing human beings in these awful ways. And we've heard stories of, you know, an older lady being taken and, you know, these kind of stories. But they do feel, and all this morning, obviously, we've all been across this story and listening to really emotional...
right, Stephen. I'm pretty sure you meant to say Craig, but I'll let you off with Craig.
You know, the ministers, as well as people on the ground. And it is a tough situation because I agree with you, Ali. It's the longer term that we're looking at. We're hearing
Devin,
words like
there's
revenge.
no doubt, you know, the flavour you're going to get with
it is difficult. I mean,
this is Jeremy Vine, Channel 5.
What the best way to go forward is. What I do know is that
it's not Rupert
the
Murdoch's
instability in
News
that
Corp,
region will affect
but it's
all
one of the
us.
big players,
It's the wider
you know, one of the big
politics that
media.
we have to be looking at.
Shitty of London's boys. I'll need to refresh myself on that.
And I'm really sorry, Angela, what you've been seeing all around you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Could I just say before, you know, obviously I'm happy to talk about, but my personal experience here is, can we just reframe the conversation so far? You know, both panelists very, very sympathetic to Israel's plight. At this stage of the game, there isn't blah, 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 but let's just look at what's happening here, because I've been here, I've run for cover when there's been a siren. This was a murderous, unprovoked attack by an internationally recognized terrorist organization on innocent people who have been slaughtered in their own homes. We've had grandmothers dragged from their homes and taken hostage in Gaza. There are people with young children who have been murdered and killed. The people that were at the music festival, a friend of mine has a cousin who is still missing. This is a very personal and immediate tragedy. And if you were to change Hamas or the IRA or any other recognisable terrorist organisation, you would not want to hear at this stage of the game, if this had happened in Britain, blah, 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 but you would just let us just focus on this at this moment in time is a battle for humanity between good and evil, between terrorists who do not care for the sanctity of human life, which is central not only to the Jewish faith, but anybody who has any humanity about them. They don't care about the citizens of Gaza who are being subjugated for their political means. Let us just look at the immediate, terrible humanitarian cost here. You mentioned the young boy from London who's going to be buried not far from where I am this afternoon, 20 years old, volunteered in the army. So let's just focus on that for the moment.
In the chat saying,
tell us then what it was like for you seeing this all
unprovoked
happening so relatively close to where you are.
We're very close. I mean, I had come to Israel through a conspiracy of circumstances. In my capacity as a journalist, one of the lighter parts of my work is I'm a travel journalist, and I get the opportunity to write about places I like to visit. So I'd arranged a commission with a national newspaper to come and write about an area, lovely area of northern Israel. I timed that with a chance to see friends and family who are scattered all over the place here. Remember, Israel is a very small country. You can see a lot of people in a short time. And it was also the tail end of a Jewish holiday. So, you know, everything was lined up to say this is a good time to make a quick trip here. And I'd only been here a day or so, had a lovely Friday evening, you know, with loved ones, gone to bed very happy, and woken up in the early hours of Saturday morning by a distant boom. And I presumed that to be thunder because the weather had been warm and it felt very close. And, you know, when you get that moment when the barometric pressure rises and you're waiting for that storm to break. And it was only when coming out of the front door and talking to people, I was renting a little apartment, talking to people that were walking past. And somebody sort of wryly said, yeah, they seem to be dropping metal on us because, remember, Israelis live with this. There's a kind of, you know, like an ennui about it. You just sort of have that spirit of the Blitz. But then as I started talking to people locally, we're aware rockets were being fired from Gaza. It doesn't matter if you're 50 miles away, it's such a small country.
Why is this happening?
And we could hear distant sirens. We were told what to do, and then suddenly there was a bellowing siren, like a moaning, sort of undulating sound right overhead, probably not dissimilar to what anybody who's been in a wartime situation would have experienced. And the advice is simply run for cover. You go somewhere where you be near a window, lie on the floor, hands on your head, and wait at least 10 minutes.
For cover, and you put your legs between your legs,
and then coming outside to rather bizarrely a peerless blue sky, nature enduring as it always does, birds singing, grass rippling in the wind, and just a few curls of smoke in the air where Israel's defence mechanism, the Iron Dome, which intercepts missile, had clearly put out the encroaching missiles. But so I've been here. I had plans to do my travel feature, go and visit friends, but I've stayed at my first stop because the advice is not to move unless you need to. So I am just working here remotely until I have an opportunity to get back, which hopefully is in a day or so.
All the best, Angela. Thank you very much for joining us, and stay safe.
Let's talk so to Sandy in West Sussex.
Hi, Sandy. What do you think Britain should do here?
Hi. Good morning. I think that we should encourage diplomacy rather than actually intervening, because I do believe if there's intervention from Britain or any of the countries surrounding Israel, if anybody retaliates, I believe it's going to lead to a world war. And
world war.
Britain, world war. We can't actually afford a war. We can't afford it financially, but we literally cannot afford
and that's the only reason we don't want a world war. We can't afford it right now. You know, we'll hold back for a couple of years, save up,
austerity,
then we'll fucking take over the world. Why fucking not, man?
Everybody is at breaking point, and if the rage that people are feeling, looking for an outlet for this frustration, is poured into the situation with Israel, I believe that we're going to suffer from war.
It's all about the money.
I mean, the Israeli state will want to. Well, it has to find the hostages firstly, And then secondly, we'll want to go in and find every
dance.
single member of Hamas in Gaza, and no one would tell them not to, would they?
No, and I think that's exactly what they should do. But when it comes to supplying weapons and ground force soldiers, I think we shouldn't. I think we should.
Okay,
What do you mean
thank
we
you, Sandy,
shouldn't?
very much. We'll have a
Richard
break and we'll
Getsfield
take more
gets his
calls on this.
fucking
What should
army
Britain
thing.
do after the terrible Hamas
just
attack
heard
on
about the
Israel? Do
British
let us
guy
know.
serving in an
07822
Israeli
22
army.
22 is
Fuck's
the number you
sake.
need. Which of the following is the world's
Dini.
oldest island? Jamaica, Madagascar, or the UK? Answer coming.
Like, what does it mean, the oldest island? Madagascar, I would say. Just off of Africa, but fucking what they're talking about, like, legally speaking or geographically speaking? Anyway, I thought this would be worth a wee
Guess who's wearing
watch. So, in the
dentures?
morning, everybody, this Israeli thing is actually, I don't know if it's current affairs goals. It's
Have
really
you guessed
interesting.
who? With Fixodent, there's no difference because it gives 10 times stronger
why
hold
do-
for your dentures. Fixodent, life with more bite.
Matt was a really, really cheeky chappy, but he was very caring, very
Cheeky
kind,
chappy.
and our wedding day was the best day of my life. We just wanted to start to build a life together. When I first heard Matthew had a brain tumour, it didn't feel real. We
dear,
were told he
cheer
had
up,
12
man.
months to live, which is absolutely crushing news to get. I was very
in the morning,
alone.
folks.
The physicalness of having to look after him was really intense. I was drowning in caring for Matt. Everything changed when I met Susan. If there was a problem, I would go straight to
sitting
her.
here in my pants
She
because I
kind of
wasn't
saved my
planning on
life in a
doing
way.
this.
She was so
I just
warm, so supportive.
turned on the TV
Matt
when
was
I
so
just
well
got
looked
up.
after. I was able to be Matt's
Seen
wife,
that they-
and not his carer.
Help us give more
Death
people
toll
the
went up to over
end-of-life care
1,000
they
of course,
need.
now.
Sponsor a Marie Curie nurse. Text SPONSOR to 70545 to find out more.
Human
Latest
achievement,
Devon. No, man.
the drive to
I reckon
understand,
I'm still going to be doing
to
a wee
improve.
ticket Debbie
These
chat
are the
about
things
Israel
that
for a
bring
wee
us
bit, man.
greatness.
I'm sorry we have to put up with our belts, but...
The new iPhone 15 Pro with aerospace-grade titanium at an everyday price on the UK's best network.
Switch your broadband
I
to
can't
eSwitch
even
and you
believe
can
it's
save
getting suggested that we
£174.
should sound like
They put a spring in his step. Visit
the weapons are
uswitch.com.
already there. If we'll know I'm made in
From
America,
early
then
risers to lion lovers,
Lockheed
night
Martin,
shift
innit?
workers to sunshine
BAE.
seekers, home restorers to gadget gurus, and from the energy savers to
And
the
it memories there,
DIYers. Blinds to Go has something
Pretty sure
for
it was the
every home.
SAS
And
that
because
done all
you
the
put them
training
up,
for the
we can
Israeli
lower the
Defence
price.
Force.
Quality
Being
blinds
it was
and
a
curtains at up to 60%
white
cheaper than the
supremacist
high street
anti-Semite
equivalent.
Scot
With thousands of styles to choose from, go to
who set up the state
blindstogo.co.uk.
of Israel.
Our carpets might look spotless after vacuuming,
Just made it so
but
by
there's
a
potentially
signature
harmful
on a
stuff
napkin.
deep down that vacuuming can't
I need to
remove.
stop repeating that. 'cause I
Well,
don't
together
know
with
if
our
I've made
Vax
that up
Platinum
in my
cleaning
nut or whether
solution,
it's-
the Vax Platinum Power Max
It's
Carpet
true.
Washer removes up to 93% of bacteria, cleaning 5
Hold on,
times
I'm loading my
better
phone.
than a high-performance
I can
vacuum.
ask my brain.
Get the award-winning Vax Platinum Power Max for just £199.99, saving £50.
Was
and
the
receive a
Balfour
free steamer worth
Declaration signed
£49.99.
on a napkin?
Who says wellness means acting our own age? And we shouldn't do pizza before Pilates. We say get active without the activewear. Centrum has a range of tailored multivitamins to suit your unique and essential nutritional needs. Centrum, do wellness your way.
Centrum, now available in kids. From the world's
Why
#1
was the
multivitamin
Balfour
brand.
Declaration written Balfour Declaration.
Join me and
F.
fellow explorer Dwayne Fields, retracing the footsteps of some of our polar heroes, right down to their clothing,
Was the Balfour
equipment, and even food.
Declaration on a
How the hell did they do it?
I found these results.
Endurance, Race to the Pole, continues tonight at 9 on Channel 5 and My 5.
Before the break, we asked which of the following is the world's oldest island. We gave you Jamaica, Madagascar, and the UK. The answer is Madagascar.
That was right. Hey!
Broke off from Africa and India and has been on its own for 70 million years. We were talking about before it was given a name or anything. OK, we're live on Channel 5 with Nadira and Ali. Later we'll be asking, should Starmer axe the Rwanda plan? He is planning to. Labour conference this week, of course. We must take more calls on what Britain can do, should do, after the attack on Israel. 0207 862 2222 is the number. Latest news is that the Israeli military say they've re-established control in the Gaza Strip. But the spokesperson said Hamas operatives are still at large. I guess, well, the hostage situation is the key thing, Nadira, here, isn't it, initially?
I think so, yeah. I mean, that I think is the most shocking thing about this whole turn of events is the hostage situation taking
Well, you can't blame
civilians,
these people, right?
And using them, weaponising them
set up there,
in a way that really is very inhumane. I think that's what's shocked the world,
It's the people who present them to you as experts.
Stories of a grandmother being taken.
I did see...
the grandmother, that's
a few seconds of a video at the weekend of it, which was of a young German girl who'd been at this music festival. It was all over Twitter, and she had been killed and was being paraded in a truck. And I wish I hadn't seen it, but it's just the whole thing was just disgusting. Derek is in
why
Denmark.
Did you watch it then, you
Denmark.
dick?
Hi, Derek.
Hi, good morning.
Why bring it up? Do you know, painting a picture in people's heads like that? And now they'll go and parrot. Oh, did you hear about the German girl?
I've been in the Palestine police force. I was in Palestine from the beginning of 47 till the end of the mandate in 48. I saw that what the Jewish terrorists could do to both us and the army. And, you know, we should not be taking sides in this. We should be in the middle, trying to get the parties together. The conservative, very conservative government in Israel is not helping. They are committing bad acts themselves. It's no good calling the Hamas terrorists. Of course, to a certain extent, they are terrorists, but they are, in a way, fighting for their own country. But Israel says...
All I was going to say, Derek, sorry to interrupt, is that when you see... kids at a music festival slaughtered, and there's more than 200 bodies they found now. And then you say, oh, don't take sides. Come on. You've got to say that's terrible.
I saw civilians in the King David Hotel in Jerusalem slaughtered. You know, there are two sides to this argument. The world seems to think there's only one.
No, well, most of it does.
I understand.
Derek,
maybe it's the timing of it. Over the weekend, it seemed like there was only one. Thank you, Derek.
Get him off.
Paul
Thank
in
you,
Manchester,
Derek.
hi.
Bye-bye. Ding.
I think you've had the two most sensible callers I've ever heard on this show. This country should have nothing to do with the Israel war and nothing to do with Ukraine, for that matter. If you want to know the real reason these things are happening, go back to what happened to my friend Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was in power now, these things would not be happening. Now, in England, we've got a cost of living crisis. We ain't interested in Israel, and we ain't interested in Ukraine.
Would you have taken the same view in the Second World War, then, when Hitler invaded Poland, Czechoslovakia?
No.
What the
fuck? It's nothing to do with Poland and Czechoslovakia. Adolf Hitler was a complete psycho nutcase. Putin... I don't think there's anything wrong with him personally, but that's my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion.
So you would stay out of everything except the Second World War?
I can honestly tell you that Vladimir Putin, I don't think he was alive when the Second World War started, so don't blame me on that one. I know the English like blaming Putin on everything, but what you've got to remember, my friend, the Conservatives and the Labour Party are jokes. The pathetic...
Oh my lordy, lordy, lord!
We don't want them in this country anymore. We've had enough. We want Nigel Farage. And if Trump can't get in power in America, come over here, my friend. I'll have a cup of tea with you anytime.
OK. Well, Ali, I'll let you respond. I mean, I suppose the bigger thought here from Paul is that if Trump was in power, this stuff wouldn't be happening.
Well, I don't think Paul... I'm not sure Paul, I don't think Paul, there's any evidence for that at all, quite frankly. I mean, the reality here is...
Well, the Ukraine maybe a bit more...
Well, the Ukraine, maybe he would have taken a different line, and he says that he would solve the issue within 24 hours. I mean, I know he's got some interesting negotiation skills and the art of the deal and all that, but if it was that easy, you know, it remains to be seen. Now, on the Israel point, you've got a situation here where people have been terrorised. I mean, it is what it is. They have been terrorised. People have been killed. Hundreds of people have been killed. They've been kidnapped. They're being held hostage at the moment. The country is reeling from it. It's the worst attack in 5 decades that it's had to face. This is a serious problem. Now, the broader context of this, and maybe this is not the time or the place to have that conversation because things are so war at the moment, and clearly Israel is going to have to respond and defend its citizens. Of course it will. But the broader context of this is that there has to be a peace settlement at some point.
Paul, what do you think?
It kind of makes sense
I can
because...
honestly tell you, my friend, there's only one way to deal with Israel, the Arab lads. By the way, Lawrence of Olivier can't come back to life. If he was
so
now,
dreading hearing what you're going to say next. I think I want to leave it there. Thank you, Paul. Julian in London, hi.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi. What do you think? What should we do? What can Britain do?
Well, I think, I certainly think, Jeremy, that military aid should be on the table.
To help Israel?
Yes. I don't know about
look at his face now. He's a bit more happy now, isn't he?
I don't know that they would, Hamas would listen. You know, I don't know that terrorists would listen. They sort of want to pursue their so-called goals. But I also am mindful of the fact that a couple of things. I mean, one, it could be complicated in certain ways with military aid because
for the last fucking
some of these people, some of the Israelites are going to be trapped inside with Hamas holding them, and it's going to be difficult to, you know, to do something when they're sealed in by these terrorists.
Yeah,
and,
well, that's true. Thank you, Julian. After the break. Go on.
Yeah, also, Jeremy, I think it could have this feeling it could make us enemies, you know, supporters of Hamas, because there's countries, I believe, isn't there, that supports Hamas, and also, if I'm right there, I'm not sure, but and there's also some Hamas supporters within our own borders.
Okay. Julian, thank you very much indeed. After the break, don't go anywhere. We'll take more calls on this because it's such a massive moment for the world. The Hamas attack on Israel, the worst attack they're saying is in Israel's history. 0207 862 2222.
They're like really pro-Israel, you know, they're really into that cause, man.
Which British monarch had a dragon tattoo?
And Israel.
Would that be Queen Victoria, Henry VIII, or George V? Answer coming.
Which monarch had a dragon tattoo? Queen Victoria, was that the first one? Queen Victoria. Going to look on my YouTube. There's a wee bit behind in it. Been on
Little pockets of play can appear anywhere. With Kinder Surprise, even the school run can be a little lesson in fun. Kinder Surprise, a little play means a lot.
That's exactly what I'm going with.
Domestos is turning the germ-killing world upside down. New Domestos Power Foam clings to surfaces.
You don't want any of the brain warping stuff. Right, I don't know about yous, but that phone in was hilarious, man. That was brilliant. I've took a timestamp and everything, man. Jeremy Kyle. Oh, they're all the fucking same slimy fucking twats, aren't they? Jeremy Vine. His face, man. It was like pure. It was like the shocked face. That was funny. So is that. Oh man. What not? That is scary. But do not fret, my friends. The old
shop,
Jeremy Fine,
and we share that cash with you.
So I think this week they might be not taking as many calls as usual. I would be lying if I said I knew how many calls they usually take.
But did you know we also print that?
I should phone my mom, she loves it.
Of course, we make print that lets people wear your brand. Take it. Stick it. Carry anything in it.
Assassin's Creed plates. I didn't want to switch it on. Be there all day.
Release your energy. It's releasing my pee I'm worried about.
You look bloody pen.
Then we're always discreet like me. Watch this. Wow. Where did it go? Who cares? It protects and it's so much thinner. I'm letting it all
Oh man, I'm
Always
such a
strong
child.
protection,
I just find that
incredible
hilarious.
And did you know how common bladder leaks are at menopause? Find out how to manage them at the free masterclasses up here at alwaysdiscreet.co.uk.
Oh no, I shouldn't fucking let
By
us
the
know
time
funny.
this advert is over, her block nose will be relieved. That's
Let's
because
see.
of X-Sign blocks the nose in 25 seconds.
What about the rest there?
It works directly on the inflamed source and is proven to help you recover up to 2 days earlier. So you don't miss a second of a good day. End of advert.
It's right
Start
there.
of relief.
No.
X-Sign-X.
Oh god.
What trauma wound to the back of the head? I used to be serious crimes.
I was thinking of pooling our resources. You do know that you wouldn't have solved this case without me.
Better go knock 'em dead.
The Good Ship Murder starts Friday at 9 on Channel 5 and My 5.
Before the break, we asked which British monarch
Right,
had a
Queen
dragon
Victoria.
tattoo. We gave you Queen Victoria, Henry, or George V.
This is going to be
And the
2 out
answer
of
is
2 if I
George
get
V.
it. No, bastard. It's usually a curveball, but maybe that isn't.
He
I just
visited
didn't see it.
Japan as a teenager with the Navy, and diaries show how the future king had a dragon tattooed. So welcome Nadir and Ali are with us this morning. Later we'll be asking whether Starmer should axe the Rwanda plan. We must take some more calls on Israel and what's happened there over the weekend. We were listening to
That'll be fun.
who was speaking about it from a perspective of somebody there. 0207 862 2222. Latest news, Austria has suspended its aid to Palestinians. That's over £16 million annually.
Ooh.
300,000 reservists are being called up by Israel to the army there in the attack, in the wake of the attack. That's the largest draft ever for the country, so it is a major, major crisis. Michael is in Manchester. Michael, what do you think Britain should do?
That's an army on its own, never mind the fucking shit it's already in place.
I think Britain should do what they normally don't do, keep their nose out. We get involved in a lot of issues around the world, and we actually tend to make things worse rather than better. Obviously, Palestine was a British enclave, and it's our fault that this is actually happening in the first place. We deposited 100,000 refugee Jews in Palestine in 1947, I believe it was, with American backing, because that was going to work, wasn't it? Putting Jews into what is predominantly a Muslim area.
That's
So
the
I think,
whole point.
So whatever we do in that area is loaded anyway. Well, maybe that's right, Ali. Maybe we shouldn't have a role.
Well, no, I don't
Listen
think
to the fleet,
should
like-
have a role. I think, Michael, the only way around this in the long
If you
term
do take-
is to come to a negotiated settlement. Now, that is very, very hard, particularly at the moment where obviously Israel has
Forgot
been
what I was
under
going to
attack.
say.
They're going to retaliate.
Oh, if you do take the
that is gonna
colours
cause
into
a
this
death
show as a
of the
flavour of
Palestinians.
the
So I think you
flavour
could
of the
argue that
nation.
Hamas's entire strategy is completely
You hear
counterproductive
it?
because if it was designed to
You hear what
actually enhance
your
the lives and
average
protect
Joe
its
is
own
thinking,
people,
man,
then
innit?
this was the worst thing it could possibly do. But I come back to my central point yet again, which is in the long term, you need a negotiated peace settlement. Netanyahu's approach of simply trying to contain the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip has not worked at all. A complete and utter failure. The idea that you could make negotiated peace agreements with all sorts of people around the Middle East, including Bahrain, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabian deal now is probably going to be kicked into the long grass for months, if not years.
As
on the
good
back
as
of
I
this.
can.
So Israel, for its own security, needs to come to a peace accord with the Palestinians. Now, that is very hard when Hamas is there and is saying it wants to eradicate Israel from the face of the earth. But ordinary Palestinians want peace, and so do Israelis.
I'm just thinking that in
Oh
terms
man,
of
I've never heard that one before.
politician in Israel, there aren't going to be votes in negotiating with Hamas at the moment, are there?
They're not, because obviously they are going to take a while to get over this unprecedented attack. There's no doubt about it. But they need to be looking at the long term, surely, diplomacy, because as Ali mentioned,
You do need to take
civilians. It's the
a wee bit of a
civilians
comedy slant when you're looking at this shite.
We're seeing that a lot. I know it's not the reaction now that we're hearing, and probably not the support that they want in Israel, but actually what happens, you know, look at the figures here. United Nations are saying that there's over 120,000 people in Gaza displaced. 2.3 million people there not living in great conditions. What are they going to do about this? Hamas, yes.
What about the granny? What about the granny? Did you not hear about the granny and the children at the music festival?
We need to not do anything. What we need to do is to go to United Nations and follow up what we've been trying to do in B'Tselem and Amnesty International, is to bring Israel, the government that has been for decades murdering children, keeping children in prisons. You see it on TV, you can see it on YouTube. The IDF go and pick up children, and they're putting them in prison. Even
Roy, I don't. It's not the day to be throwing that kind of thing around.
No.
What do you mean throwing that thing around? You're talking about grannies dying and children at music festivals.
I belong to a group called B'Tselem, and we're for peace. The only way you're going to get peace is to get Israel, the government Israel, at the present moment has gone really right-wing. And it's gone so... I mean, some of the stuff they've been doing, they've been arming their citizens. So and you've had this issue of them spitting on Christians walking through Jerusalem. You've got all this sort of stuff going on.
Right, but look at it from the other way. If you know, it is a democracy, Israel. If they are elected, how does this Hamas attack make them decide to make peace?
Because I've just explained to you, Jeremy, I deplore what Hamas have done. But what's happened is you've got to take it in a situation over the years. Over the decades,
I think that's a good shout.
With the backing of Britain and United States, who is not a good broker. What you have is you've had these people being pushed into this. We've been trying to stop...
I've not heard...
Hamas,
that
you talk about democracy. Hamas
the
was
Sovereign Military Order of
yes,
Malta,
I'm aware of that. Yeah,
permanent observatory status over the UN.
Michael, again in Manchester, everyone's in Manchester today. Hi, Michael.
It wouldn't shock me, mate, as if I've never heard it.
What do you think
in the
about this? Because a
winds
lot of
before,
people
if you
say,
get me.
A, we should stay out, and B, that there's context that explains why this attack happened.
Well, the only thing I can say is, I mean, being a Jewish person myself, and I've been through the whole bar mitzvah thing when I was 13, of course. I'm now at the age of like a pension age. I just don't think that Great Britain, as a country, should get involved with what's going on in Israel and against Hamas. I mean, I'm against Hamas, what they've done. It's despicable what they did. But our country's got enough problems as it is, without us getting involved.
I can't believe the sort of a flavour that's coming across. I do believe it, if that makes sense, but I can't believe the editorial slant is allowing
down the street. That's going to influence,
this,
annoy the Palestinians in London, because there's plenty of Palestinians
these people
in London.
to get on.
I don't agree
because they are
with the Palestinians celebrating. I think that's disgusting, but I just don't think this country should really get involved. Israel are a great army. The Israelis are an amazing army. They should do what they think's best. And if they want to...
That's no number 10, is it?
Wipe...
That's number fucking 10. What the fuck?
They feel that way. That's entirely up to them. And I don't believe that we should get involved.
But Michael... Sorry, just listen to what you just said. If the Israeli army wanted to wipe the Palestinians out, that's up to them.
No, if they want to, that's up to them. It's nothing to do with us.
But
it's up to them.
Michael, you're making your point very clearly that Britain shouldn't get involved. But just on the point about wiping out the Palestinians, I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu has said to people in Gaza that they should get out now because he's going to take revenge for the attack. Understandably, passions are running very high, and the Israelis have been attacked and people have been killed, and they obviously want retribution for that. That is understandable. But the reality is there are 2.4 million people living in Gaza. they're not all going to be going into Egypt. Egypt's not opening the border for them to escape. So whatever Israel does, unless, as you say, it wants to wipe out the entire millions of people there, which would be a heinous crime of itself. I mean, you know, what the Hamas have done is terrible, but they can't do that either. They've got to live with the issue and solve it.
Wanted to bring up the Holocaust, didn't he?
Thanks to all our callers. We'll change the subject after the break and
no!
We'll ask Mr. Starmer. So Keir Starmer should axe the Rwanda plan. Keir Starmer said Labour would scrap the Rwanda policy if they win power. 0207 862 2222 is the number.
And back to the bull crap.
What's the Scottish dessert tipsy laird? What is that? Is it trifle or pastry, or could it be an ice cream? Answer coming.
I'm going to say a pastry, but I don't fucking know. And that's kind of weird because I'm Scottish, believe it or fucking not. That must be a part of Scotland I'm not familiar with.
Daily massage.
You remember, Scotland's just one wee place. There's not any difference between all yours up here. On kilts, ginger.
Looks like your secret's out.
See you, Jimmy hats. That's funny because I've got see you, Jimmy hat. And ginger hair. And that's funny because I've got ginger in my beard.
Make it something delicious with Hellmann's.
Right, so anybody want to say it in the chat, because I'm not going to listen to Keir Starmer shit. But that was very interesting, I think. You know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to see who produces the Jeremy Vine show.
And these 12-bag multi-packs of what Cips and Quavers crisps, only $3.25 each. Great value on everyday essentials.
Vine
Multi-litre milk, £1.55 each. Single white Elvis bread at £1 and Jack's bacon, £2.
In fact, let me ask my brain. I'm sure the brain will answer this one. Can't be that dumb.
Premier, amazing value locally.
Who produces the Jeremy Vine show on Channel 5?
Free support line is just a call away.
Hello, Macmillan.
Here is information from Wikipedia.
Am I going to lose my
Jeremy
job?
Vine, TV programme, camera setup, running time, production company, ITN, right, there we go. So this is ITN, it's Channel 3.
As often as you need them.
That's who's producing it? ITN. And I think Jeremy Vine does BBC stuff, doesn't he? If I'm not mistaken. I honestly could not tell you.
Get 10% discount. Get your quote today at lv.com.
So,
do you want to find out if you're overweight?
the CEO is Rachel Corp. Surely her name isn't Rachel Corp. Is that a corporation or a fucking person? That is weird as. Independent television news, UK based media production and broadcast journalist company. ITN is based in London, offices in Beijing, Brussels, Jerusalem, Johannesburg, New York, Paris, Sydney and Washington. ITV produces daily news programmes for ITV, Channel 4 and Channel 5 in the UK. See, you get one brand of news with lots of different flavours over Channel 3, 4 and 5, and everybody thinks they're getting, oh, you know what? I really think that Channel 4 does really good news. No, I prefer the Channel 5. Oh, Margaret, no, I prefer the Channel 3. Sorry, it's not the same shit. It's all went through the same filter. It's all going to have the same editorial stance. They're going to have different fucking heads talking in different stances. Hold on, just the ITV news, Channel 4 news, Channel 5 news. I know I've mentioned this before. Channel 5 documentaries, royal documentaries, ownership. This is the bit I'm wanting. Ownership, ITV PLC, Daily Mail and General Trust, 20%. So ITV PLC, Public Limited Company, so it's sort of stocks and shares and shit, the majority is 40%. Then you've got the Daily Mail, there's your kind of, your big media brands. Thomson Reuters. The Thomson Reuters Corporation. I'm stabbing in the dark, but I'm going to say the clues in the name being Reuters and Informa. which I've never heard of. So the Daily Mail, Junior Trust, the multinational media company, the owner of the Daily Mail, and several other titles. The fourth Viscount Rothermere is the chair and controlling shareholder of the company. So your independent news organisation, the main dude is fucking the fourth Viscount of Rothermere. How do you like them apples? And that's who controls the editorial stance of the Daily Mail and the General Trust and everybody else's fingers that they've got their bit of pie in.
Get rid of the controversial policy if he becomes Prime Minister, even if it was successful in reducing illegal immigration. So we'd love your thoughts on that. Is Starmer right? And then also, despite the warm temperatures, it seems people are already in the Christmas spirit. Retailers have reported they're seeing a rise in people buying Christmas food and drink.
That just the warm temperature, like, I don't know, up here in Scotland we're getting like the fucking rain and misery for like a week solid now probably. I know it isn't out of the norm up here, you know, it's kind of the weather we're famous for. But it doesn't foot the global warming.
Step in the storm, and Matt will be joined by Henry Bonser and Lynn May later, then Alexis with Bobby Frictions, Midday Moan and Dawn Neeson. So, loads to get through. I'll show you the number here. I'm sure you know it by now. How to reach us wherever
It's
you
like
are.
a scarecrow, isn't he, man?
Yeah, I'm on the go.
Shouldn't he wear skinny jeans? Who's these fucking...
Manhattan, 020-7862-2222, 020-7862-2222. As Storm says...
So hopefully he's enjoyed that, man, a wee touch of old Cartoon Land Jeremy Vine show.
He says you must be joking at the cost of that. So then the thought is, what about ringing on a mobile instead?
And the talk of
and as Storm
Israel.
Says, mobiles could be dearer.
Alrighty, booby chips, thanks for joining. Mind if you enjoy these wee streams and whatnot, stick a wee thumbs up.
Let's have a look.
No camera because I'm sitting in my boxers.
There we are.
Just about to shake my tail, have a shower.